Hello, and welcome to our webinar, Get the Most Out of Your Microsoft Cloud Services with Arrow, brought to you by Arrow Electronics. I'm your host, Katie Bavoso from the Channel Company. The worldwide public cloud services market grew more than 24% in 2020 and totaled $312 billion in revenue. IDC reports that same year, Microsoft rose to share the #1 spot amongst the top 5 public cloud providers. Your opportunity to provide cloud services to customers has never been more accessible. But don't let the day-to-day complexities of cloud management bog down your business. Arrow has the solutions and support to help Microsoft Cloud service providers grow and succeed. Joining me now to discuss more about this are the team from Arrow. We have AJ Krushok, Go-to-Market Vendor Manager for Arrow's Microsoft team, Nikki Sudd, Channel Manager for Arrow's Microsoft Cloud team, Wayne Aiello, Cloud Product Manager for Arrow's Cloud Platform, and Brian Hamilton, a Cloud Architect at Arrow. Welcome, everybody. Thanks so much for being here. Let's get started with our first segment, Uncomplicate Your Cloud Services Business. So question 1 is for you, AJ. Selling and managing cloud can be very challenging for channel partners. How does Arrow's relationship with Microsoft help partners to grow their customer bases and maximize their revenue?
It's a great question, and thanks for having us today. So Arrow is a publicly traded company. We're about an $8.5 billion market cap. So with Arrow's roots as a distributor, we have long-lasting relationships that are deep and rich in history with many of our top names in the technology space. These working relationships gives Arrow a competitive advantage that we can pass on to our customers and our partners, whether it's building solutions or going to market together. Microsoft is one of the many of our top partnerships. However, it is one of our largest, and we have won countless awards with them. Arrow is an indirect provider of Microsoft, so we support partners of all sizes, from SMB through the enterprise. Our Arrow Global Services division is worldwide in reach and has multiple specialties ranging from workload fitment to full-blown scalable solutions. AGS can custom fit solutions for your customers' needs, as well as fill in any expertise gaps where you or your customer may have them. eInfoChips is another boutique services group at Arrow. We acquired them, and they specialize in big data, artificial intelligence, and Internet of Things, better known as IoT. We also have a financing arm, Arrow Capital Solutions. One benefit is extended credit terms. For instance, let's say you're trying to build a hybrid solution for your customer. You can leverage ACS to cover the upfront costs of that solution. On the monthly billing side, you automatically gain up to 30 days terms. Think use now and pay later with no day one upfront billing.
And AJ, you're actually going to close out this segment with the second question. How does Arrow help Microsoft partners stay competitive in the cloud market?
We're very proactive here at Arrow when it comes to marketing and lead generation. It's a differentiator from many of our competitors. We host webinars, awareness campaigns, and the leads that are generated filter down to our partners. This makes it easy for you, as Arrow does much of the heavy lifting. We're offering free assessments for continued discovery of your customers' needs and to see if the cloud solution is right for them. And if deeper expertise is needed, we can supply that. Hopefully it paints enough of a picture for you to come to the conclusion that Arrow is a turnkey solution entity for Microsoft solutions.
Thanks so much, AJ. That brings us into segment 2, ArrowSphere for Microsoft. Now, question 3 in this webinar, and Nikki, let's start with you. What day-to-day complexities or pain points do channel partners often face when providing services for Microsoft Cloud and SaaS solutions to customers that Arrow can help solve?
Working with channel partners day in and day out, I often see a lot of complexities around cloud, especially as it compares to software vendors that we've typically seen in the past. Big challenges around cloud consumption include billing, ensuring that you are billing out correctly against your IaaS and your SaaS consumption, staying on top of customer renewals and ensuring that your customers have licenses as they need them, and that you are billing out correctly. With the change in Azure plan, partner earned credit is something else that partners have to think about, making sure that you are correctly set up with permissions to ensure that you're doing everything correctly in Microsoft's eyes to earn partner earned credit. So I and my partners leverage ArrowSphere to manage some of these billing complexities. The tools within the platform really help with invoicing and making sure you're staying on top of partner earned credit. And as well as renewals. And I've got our global product manager, Wayne Aiello, to speak a little bit further to it.
Hey, thanks, Nikki. Yeah, we really try to make ArrowSphere easy for you so that you can manage your cloud and not have to think about a lot of the things Nikki was just talking about. So we have tools in it. For example, with billing, we consolidate the billing, reconcile that for you with the vendors. We actually take care of complicated billing schemes like proration, for example, that you often see with SaaS products. And we also provide billing in arrears. So we don't do, we really simplify the whole billing scenario where you have pre-bill and then you have certain things that have to be credited and rebilled at the end of each month. We take care of all of that and provide you with an easy to access, reconcile, consolidated bill that you can then in turn bill your end customers with. And that's available for download, or you can actually use APIs to pull that into your accounting systems. Some of the other things Nikki mentioned, she talked about partner and credit. This is a really complicated thing you have to keep on top of with your customers because they can accidentally, or in some cases even on purpose, turn off your ability to earn credit on Azure. And so you won't, in that case, you won't get any margin on it. So we built a tool into ArrowSphere that actually tracks the status of partner and credit on a daily basis. And then with that tool, you can see which of your customers are you're eligible for it and which you're not. And we even have an alert you can set up that'll come to you automatically, that'll tell you if somebody turns that off. So just allows you to be proactive about tracking that. And then speaking of proactive, it's the same thing with renewals. We want you to have the time to be proactive with renewals, get ahead of the curve. And so we actually have a dedicated renewals management screen where you can go in and see what's coming up for renewal in the coming quarter, coming months, coming year. And then again, get ahead of that curve with your customers. And then, consumption is a really big focus. Any sort of infrastructure-based SKUs like Azure or AWS, we have a whole slew of tools like dashboards, reporting. We even have a budgeting feature where you can set budgets for your customers and get alerts when they're going to exceed that budget. And it's done well in advance. We actually use predictive analytics, so we can tell you when that customer looks like they're going to exceed their budget for the month. That way you can call them, find out if that's what they're expecting before the bill comes. And that makes the conversation at billing a lot easier.
I wish many bill companies would call me before that too, Wayne. So I think that that's a really convenient service. Let's actually stay talking about consumption right now. How does ArrowSphere help partners and their customers manage their cloud consumption?
Yeah, well, the first thing we do is we make it easy to actually purchase consumption based products and to understand what the costs are going to be for that. We actually read the consumption based costs on a daily basis. So if you were just doing this on your own, you'd get a bill from, let's say, Microsoft or AWS at the end of the month, and then in turn you have to bill your end customers. And that's where the conversation could get difficult if the customer wasn't expecting a particular service to have a certain charge. And we read those charges in daily. We provide those alerts I talked about earlier. And so you can see that information as the month is going on. So you can get ahead of the curve. You can talk to your customers if you see something that looks like an aberration, like a spike in charges, for example. We also allow those costs to be broken down. You can break them down by cost center, by resource, by environment. There's about 8 different ways you can break those costs down, and all that comes in through the data that we're feeding to you. So you can take that data, you can use the charts and graphs and the analytics we provide, or you can actually download it as well if you want to bring it into Excel or Power BI or some other tool to do some analyzation of your own. So there's a lot of things, a lot of tools we have within ArrowSphere that just help you essentially get a grip on where your customers are consuming and how much those charges are going to be long before the bill comes out.
Well, Wayne, Arrow brings a lot of value to your partners in helping them manage their cloud for their customers, but it seems customers themselves are wanting more control over it directly. What are you doing to help with that?
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And our partners have come to us in the past and said, our customers want to have the ability to control some of these things, but we don't want to lose control as a partner. We want to make sure we're in the loop and understand what's going on with each of the customers. So we actually have a white labeled portal called My Cloud Portal. This portal allows you as a partner to roll it out to your customers where they have access to their subscriptions. They can add seats, they can decrease seats, they can buy new products. It's really a marketplace essentially where they can go in and it's going to be all custom branded for you. It's going to have all information about the products that you sell to them, but it allows the customers to be self-enabled with the ability to purchase and maintain those subscriptions. So that's one example. They can also see the consumption we talked about earlier. So if they have questions about their consumption, instead of coming to you, their first step could be just to go in and take a look at their own portal and pull up the consumption and details themselves, and then then have a conversation with you if they need to.
Thanks so much, Wayne. And that brings us into segment 3, end-to-end support. So Brian, we're actually going to get you involved in the webinar. First question for you, how can Arrow help partners with the pre-sales process?
Yeah, thanks, Katie, and thanks for having us. We like to look at how our pre-sales technical team supports our partners primarily through 3 major lenses: enablement, pipeline generation, and sales acceleration. Enablement has really changed over the years. This used to be about ensuring that our partners are up to speed in the latest and greatest features and capabilities on a particular product. But again, cloud has really changed that. While we most certainly can and do help at that product level, increasingly, we're helping our partners with more practice area and best practice approach knowledge. We see many approaches to many problems here at Arrow, and we can often help a partner with how to best approach a situation or how to best align a practice area based upon our broad visibility and experience. For instance, I was just with a partner earlier this week in Salt Lake City. We were discussing how to best leverage some new assessment offers by Microsoft and aligning that with the partner's existing services offerings. Secondly, pipeline generation is another area of focus. Here we'll assist a partner to prepare for an event like a webinar or a lunch and learn or any other type of pipeline generation. And this could be just simply assisting with preparation, aligning together materials or the topics, all the way down into participating in those events as guest speakers and the like. And then lastly, and my personal favorite, which is where we'll assist with sales acceleration. So, if you've got a customer that needs help with how to migrate into Azure or which database service of the many to consume for that new IoT project, best practice questions around deploying Azure Kubernetes services, our team will often assist in a partner's first few deals and in larger, more complex opportunities that need help getting across that finish line.
Thanks so much, Brian. Nikki, let's go back to you. What feedback are you getting from partners about the Arrow Microsoft partnership?
The feedback I've been receiving around the Arrow Microsoft partnership has all around been great. We've been forming great partnerships with Microsoft resellers across the nation. One example I'd like to highlight is Cloud Service. We have been working with Cloud Service since the beginning of their resale program. They've been a great partner, and I'd actually like to let them speak about their experience a little bit. Today, I'm here with Cloud Service, one of our top Microsoft providers. I'm joined today by Dave and Steve. Would you guys like to introduce yourselves?
Absolutely. Thanks, Nikki. So my name is Steve McCann. I'm managing partner of Cloud Service. I lead our sales and licensing practice. And also with the call me is Dave Rowe.
Yeah, thank you, Steve. My name is Dave Rowe. I'm the president of Cloud Service. I primarily lead our consulting practice.
Thank you both for joining us today. Steve, can you start by telling us a little bit about who Cloud Service is and what services you provide to your customers?
Of course. So Cloud Service is a double gold Microsoft partner based out of Austin, Texas. 2 primary forms of revenue for us, to keep it simple: Microsoft professional services and Microsoft licensing, which is where Arrow comes into play for us. Our main mission is to be a top 1% Microsoft partner for our customer base. We do that by hiring some of the top talent in the nation in order to provide a really deep level of Microsoft expertise, primarily within the Azure and Microsoft 365 stacks, but also making sure that we're pairing that with the boutique level of customer service and customer advocacy that often goes missing in the business world today.
Perfect. Thank you, Steve. Dave, when did Cloud Service start working with Arrow, and what was the business need at the time?
Yeah, about 2 years ago, we went through the process of trying to decide if we wanted to add licensing as an offering through Cloud Service. We went through the process of looking at whether we wanted to be a direct CSP partner or indirect. We talked to a couple of different partners and just felt really comfortable with Arrow. So we added licensing about 2 years ago, and it's gone tremendously well.
Thanks, Dave. I'm so glad to hear it's gone well. Can you talk a little bit further about how Arrow has helped Cloud Service?
Yeah, absolutely. I think for us, what's been tremendous is just the people at Arrow. They're incredibly responsive. Anytime there's an issue or just a question, we're able to shoot that over to the Arrow team, and they're incredibly responsive and help us solve whatever that issue is. The tools have also been fantastic. So both the ArrowSphere portal as well as the My Cloud portal. The ArrowSphere portal has really sort of automated things for us. We're able to get in, see the entire catalog of services. We're able to provide licensing to our customers directly. We don't have to go through Arrow and request anything. We're able to handle that kind of on our own. There are also some dashboards built into the ArrowSphere portal, so we're able to track all of our customers through that portal and through those dashboards. So we're able to provide those customers an idea of how they're tracking each month on their spend. And then, of course, at the end of the month, we're able to see, what each customer has spent and in which area. There's also an API built into the platform that we're leveraging to pull some of that data into our own internal dashboards so that we can have a single pane of glass of not only our consulting revenue, but as our licensing revenue as well.
Dave, thank you for your insight into ArrowSphere. Really appreciate the feedback there. You had mentioned that you allow your end users the same access into self-service or on licensing. So Steve, can you tell me a little bit more about your experience with the end user portal, MyCloud?
Yeah, of course, Nikki. So the MyCloud portal has been a tremendous resource for us as a partner of Arrow. It's a white labeled self-service CSP portal that we're able to offer as a tool to our customer base. When we talk to customers, this is a tremendous advantage that we have versus our competition, because our customers tell us that our competition relies many times on the customer themselves sending an email into the partner and then provisioning that on their own. So this allows us as a tool to offer the ability for that self-service licensing adjustment. And frankly, it's been a huge benefit to us on the selling side, and it's part of our onboarding practice. And so once we onboard a customer and get them set up on the portal and send them very simple instructions, they pick it up like riding a bike, and they're on their way to manage their licensing as they go on their own. So it's really taken a tremendous load off of our shoulders once we get them onboarding, and has allowed us to not even have to hire an additional licensing admin to make those provisionings for our customer base.
Dave, are there any measurable outcomes from working with Arrow that you could share with us today?
There are, yeah. The automation has, allowed us to scale very quickly. On the year, we're already up 250% in licensing, and that just continues to grow. By the end of the year, we'll be even higher than that.
Dave and Steve, thank you both so much for joining us today and being a part of this discussion. I've really enjoyed working with you, and I'm so grateful for your partnership. Thank you so much for being here today.
Nikki, thanks so much for that example. Let's move into our very last question. And AJ, we're going to go back to you. Where can interested Microsoft partners go to learn more about Arrow?
First, I just want to say thanks for your time today. Each channel partner has specific needs, and we understand that, and we welcome the opportunity to have a conversation with you to learn more about your goals. You can go to the link provided on the screen to learn more.
AJ, thank you. And thank you all so much for joining me today. And of course, thank you at home for watching our webinar, Get the Most Out of Your Microsoft Cloud Services with Arrow. Once again, I'm Katie Boboso. Take care.